Hi everyone, in this video I'll continue buggy assembling. In the previous part I'd made first drive and all the knots beared the ride and remained in their place. But as a minus I can note a weak brake work. They aren't enough and therefore, I had to install front supports and connect them with the brake cylinder. It won't be so simple to make because of a steering rack which is located in front. Also in this video I'll make a case cowl on buggy, without which there'd get a lot of garbage and herbs. I'll start working with installation of two standard forward piston supports. As I said earlier, it's not so easy to install them. You need to swing a support bracket by 180 degrees. I'd become convinced one more time that it couldn't be fixed in a normal position, and began to dismantle a hub. After that I began to unscrew the bracket bolts. It's hard to say how old this detail was. The long bolts hardly went out from the left hub, and from the right one I had to drill them out as they rusted tightly. To pull out the bolts I removed the hub. I turned around the bracket and I fitted a support. After all, I had to saw the lever together with a ball caster and cut the bracket a bit. If I knew about it before, then I'd make the top lever a little differently. I fastened the bracket and assembled everything in a reverse order. I put the support in its new place and tried to twist a wheel. Everything worked and didn't touch the lever. I also was afraid that the support could touch a wheel disc as I've increased the shelf by turning the rim. I put a wheel in its place and after all the disc began to touch the support in one place. I even tried to sharpen it, but then I saw a distance plate nearby, which I forgot to fix. I put it on the hub, and the wheel twirled freely without touching a support. Now there's only left a camera nipple. I didn't want to dismantle the wheel and drilled a new hole for the nipple. I found the solution to press the nipple with a nut to the rim. Thus the wheel can be pumped up and the nipple doesn't touch the support. Now we need to link up the supports to the brake cylinder. For this purpose we'll use special hoses for banjo bolt containing a hole. It was fastened through two copper washers to the support. I made a fastening for a hose on the frame, turned off a cap from the brake cylinder and linked the tube with a hose of the right support. Left tube appeared to be too long, and I just twisted it in a spiral and fastened one end to the cylinder, another one to a hose of the left support. Now we only have to remove the air from the brake system. The supports were installed conversely and in order to pump over the system, we need to remove them and turn over with unions up. After the pumping I put everything back and checked whether everything worked well, and the blocks squeezed a brake disc. Because of the installation of forward supports the load on the top levers increased. I think they can be torn off in case of hard braking with a good hook. And finally I set forward wheels correctly according to the direction of the tread pattern. Further I began to think over the construction of the cowl. I took first available old sheet material and cut out a template of the top part. I took a detached view and understood that won't go. The tubes will interfere a lot, and we also need an access to the pedals and brake cylinders, not mentioning brake reservoirs. I began to think how to make it so it'd be similar and functional and convenient at the same time. It's possible to analyze the variance from what to start the construction with eternally. Everything will be made in place. All case will be welded from a metal sheet of 1 mm. I applied the sawn-off slab from the sheet to the frame, measured and cut off the excess edges from it. After it I marked places for pipes. While fitting on a slab, it turned out that it was located too high. To make it lower we need to lower the pipe on which a steering column is situated. I sawed off a couple of centimeters from the pipe and welded it again to the frame. Then as the slab laid down normally I undercut it in place and made creases on each side. I didn't think anything out and bent everything with pliers. After the assembly I'd align the whole cowl with a special putty. Of course after a final adjustment I started the production of the following part of the cowl, which finally would be transformed into a cowl. I cut everything in place with small margin for mistakes. For convenience I fixed the sheet on the frame, to be exact on a strip in which I drilled 2 holes. I made a socket and bent a forward part. Also made creases on each side. I made a curve on the corners from segments. In the end they'd be welded among themselves. I was doing it for the first time and at first didn't imagine the result, but gradually the cowl began to come into sight. The top part is ready, now we need to sheath the sides. I took a tin and tried it on a forward part. We needed to make a hole for a steering rack in it. Everything fitted well, now there's left to bend a sheet according to the cowl form. It wasn't convenient to work with such long sheets, so I decided to divide it into 2 parts. I cut off a prominent edge and welded a detail to the top slab. I adjusted the cut-off part and welded it on the points. Now there's left to close the main part of a sidewall of buggy. I measured the sidewall and cut off a sheet of the suitable size. We need to cut out a place for the top lever in it. I adjusted it to the top part and welded to the frame for a convenient work with it. I cut off the prominent part from above. I drew the bend line of a stiffening rib, applied 2 shapes from 2 sides, and pulled together with clamps. It'll make the bend easier and give the flat bend line. Behind a stiffening rib I welded the shape to the frame on which a side part of the cowl would be stuck. I gave the sheet the form of the cowl of the original buggy and marked 1 more line of a stiffening rib, but before bending I cut out a segment from a sheet. I'll also use 2 shaped tubes for bending. After that I welded in a slightly increased triangle and cut off the prominent part from the bottom. Thus how I assembled the case cowl for buggy. However, it's a crude scheme. The joints will be straightened and welded through. I'll also make a good fastening for it so it won't rattle in process. Maybe I'll also paste the vibro-absorbing mats. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you in the following part.